What a relief. I'm so excited to jump in this video and tell you on my lunch break, I had to do it. I'm so hyped about the news. We're going to talk in this video about the huge move that just happened, plus some unfortunate news and maybe a little bit of drama. Hit subscribe if you're looking for daily 49ers content. As always, if I can get this to work, there it goes. There we go. There's that subscribe button in case you didn't know what it looks like. So listen, we got to jump straight in because Brock Purdy said he did not want to see these negotiations go into April OTAs. He talked about that. That was a part of the situation as it was playing out. And Brock Purdy came through, showed up today. Fantastic news. Of course, he could have done what every other player has done before, but he made a huge move in deciding to come to OTAs today, to put the team before the player's own demands. This also signals how good the contract situation might be in the background, which is also great news. So Mike Silver, yesterday we talked about this tweet right here I have on the board or on the screen. There has been some progress toward a multi-year extension. That was the good news of yesterday. We got back-to-back good news because today we learned that he came. If Brock Purdy shows up on Tuesday, said Mike Silver yesterday, it's a sign that he and his agent believe that they're very close to striking a deal. So he showed up today, and that means that he's feeling good. Here's Adam Schefter reporting the 49ers' Brock Purdy has been discussing a new deal with San Francisco, is in attendance today for the start of the team's offseason workout. Some thought Brock Purdy might have stayed away without the new deal. Why would they think that? Folks, because every single player has done that. That's why they'd think that. And Brock Purdy did not do that. Mike Silver, of course, then gives an update on his original tweet from yesterday saying, Purdy showed up today as an indication that talks are in a good place. Guys, this is music to my ears. We're going to talk about some other stuff that's not as awesome as the news that I'm sharing right now, but we should be hyped about this. This is the thing that we complained about all of last season and the offseason before that and the offseason before that. It is so nice, finally, to have a player that just showed up despite having massive contract negotiations that have huge implications where the 49ers could tag him and say, sorry, bud, you're going to play on your $5 million this year, and we're just going to tag you each year until you agree to our terms. And no, Brock Purdy did not do that. That's great. Happy news for me. Akash said this well, saying Brock Purdy showing up today on day one of the offseason program means the contract negotiations are at a good enough place that he doesn't need to use missing it as leverage for his new deal. Good sign that they're close on a new deal, which may be coming out soon. We'll have to wait and see. Diana Rossini also posted on this. These are big name people, by the way. Some of these folks, at least. Adam Schefter, Diana Rossini, my goodness. Mike Silver. With Brock Purdy showing up to the start of 49ers OTAs Tuesday, contract talks between San Francisco and his QB are in a good place. This is a huge move from Brock Purdy. He could have held out. He could have said, no, I still want my end of the deal. So either Brock Purdy's getting what he wants, and it just isn't finalized yet, that would surprise me a little bit, or Brock Purdy's close enough with the 49ers on those negotiations that he's happy to be there present, or maybe they're not close and he's deciding he's going to show up because he's a team player. Whatever the case, it's all good news either way you shake it, which I think is fantastic. I'm gonna take that for what it is. Good tweet from Danny G here. Brock is the man. He knows he's the man. The Niners know he's the man. He's going to get paid. No drama here, and that's the word right there, right? No drama here coming from Brock Purdy. I love that. Absolutely love that. Brock Purdy doesn't seem like the drama type, but when it comes to contract negotiations, you know how these things go. He hinted at this after the season was over, basically saying he didn't want to get in the position where he was missing today. But this is obviously way back when, and that was an indication that he was willing, potentially, or needed to miss today if things were not in a better place. So I'm excited about that. I think you should be too. How about the other folks out there? 49ers Pro Bowl tight end George Kittle, who has been in discussions with a new deal, is not at San Francisco's voluntary offseason workout program that starts today. So that's an unfortunate one. Not at all a surprise whatsoever. This one is as obvious as anything could be because the team and the player are still so far apart. So yeah, that's a bummer. The interesting thing there would be, I imagine the 49ers and George Kittle will agree that he should be the highest paid tight end in football. So the interesting thing there is how high is George Kittle's asking price? I don't know about all of that, but since they're so far apart right now, this is unfortunate news for the 49ers. Would love to have him around. Nothing that I expect to be a big problem, but definitely a little bit of a bummer there. Fred Warner is in attendance today, which was also expected despite the fact that he's into contract negotiations. Warner is a candidate for a contract extension, but did show up to the team's offseason workout program. Part of that, a lot of people believe he was going to show up, one, from a leadership perspective. Two, I told you yesterday, the fact that Robert Saleh is in the building, dude, he's not going to want to miss any bit of that. He's now back with Robert Saleh, wants to get this season right because the offense had its issues, no doubt, but the defense was the problem, and so were special teams. So yes, he wants to be there. He wants to right the ship. He wants to be a part of the leadership that rights the ship. And on top of that, he's still got 2 years left on his deal. So while the contract negotiations are in place, it's not quite as, it's not the typical setup of like, this is your contract year and you want to get things sorted now, right? Because even if he didn't play, even if he wanted to hold out and things like that, it doesn't have the same splash because you still have 2 years left on your contract. That's bad faith too. Okay, Deebo Samuel, another player that posted about being there. I'm like recording some lunch break, so I'm sure other players will post as time goes on. But, just exciting to see players that are hyped to be back. It feels good. I know it's OTAs, but man, after this many months of not seeing players on the field, just seeing Ricky Pearsall out there catching balls from Brock Purdy, it just feels good to see players out on the field and to know that players are back and to see that they're back in the building. That's always exciting to me. That's where I'm at. One other little piece of drama, if you want to call it that, that's your call, but I want to know how you feel about the situation with Devonte Adams, who went out today and said this: I was entertaining the Niners, but they were like, they were paying wholesale. They were like, we're paying wholesale. We ain't paying retail. I didn't talk to them, but that's what my agent told me like 5 times, end quote. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not a wholesale type of dude. So there you go. Interesting, little piece of drama there. I'm not going to get too hot and bothered over it. One, because Devonte Adams, he's an aging wide receiver. Would have been a great asset to the team, but he's an aging wide receiver, and I wouldn't want the 49ers to pay retail prices either, just personally. And I think there's a perspective around the league, and Devonte Adams is not going to agree with this, obviously, but there's a perspective on, dude, you jumped ship twice. I don't know who you're going to be, and I don't know what kind of player I'm going to get, and I don't know if you're going to jump ship. I wouldn't pay retail price either. Yes, he's an incredible wide receiver, and if we could get him, then I would be hyped. I'm not going to hide that or act like that's not the case. However, I'm not losing any sleep over this situation. The 49ers put feelers out there, and they were willing to, throw a bone at Devonte Adams if he was interested. I'm guessing this is a one-sided part of the negotiations. In other words, Devonte Adams, I'm just guessing. Like, I don't know, okay? I'm just guessing that there's not a whole lot of back and forth between the 49ers and Devonte Adams. And maybe the team and the player were just so far apart that wasn't even close. I'm not going to read too much into it. It's also coming out of the mouth of Devonte Adams' agent, who's always going to project from a financial point of view a lot more intensely. So it doesn't bother me. A lot of 49ers fans, however, are out there very bothered by this, as they're saying that this plays into a narrative about the 49ers front office and how they handle financial negotiations and some issues around that. So, I get that. I get that perspective as well. I appreciate you guys and look forward to seeing what you have to say in the comments about this one. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. We are now just 2 days away. We're Deommodore Lenoir days away from the 2025 NFL Draft. That is insane. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun, and I look forward to talking to you guys about it all the way through the whole process. And I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy the second half of your day.